I'm your host Amin, and in today's video I will talk about the story of the special one, Jose Mourinho, the man who has won Champions League, Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, the Portuguese League, the Portuguese Cup, and so on. But this man hasn't always been the special one. There was a time Jose Mourinho was an absolute nobody. Nobody knew he was gonna be this great. So, this is about the story of Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho was born in 1963 to a large middle-class family in Setúbal, a suburb of Lisbon metropolitan area in Portugal, the son of Felix Mourinho, who was a football player. Mourinho wanted to follow in his dad's footsteps and joined the Barcelona youth team, graduating to the senior level. He left the club in 1980 to sign with Rio Ave. And after a few years, when he was playing football in a team, Mourinho decided that he lacked the pace and the skills to become a football player. So instead, he became a manager. So Mourinho looked for a path into professional management in his hometown and became youth team coach at Victoria de Setúbal in early 1990s. Later, he accepted the position of an opportunity to work as a translator for a top 4 region coach whose name was Bobby Robson. Bobby Robson had been appointed the new manager of Lisbon Sporting CP Club and needed an English-speaking local coach to work as his interpreter. Mourinho began discussing tactics and coaching with Robson, and after a few years, Robson was signed by Porto and Mourinho went with him to Porto. So in Porto, Mourinho and Robson won a lot of titles. They reached the 1993 to 1994 UEFA Champions League semi-final. They won the 1993 to 1994 Portuguese League. They won the 1993-1994 Taça de Portugal, the Portuguese Cup, the 1994-1995, and of course they won in 1995-1996 Portuguese Championship. A few years later, Robson left Porto and he went to Barcelona and Mourinho went with him. After Mourinho and Robson left Porto, they went to Barcelona, and as a result, Mourinho and his family moved to Barcelona. Robson and Mourinho did no longer work together, so as a result, he began working with Luis van Gaal, the man who was responsible for Jose Mourinho's success in the future. During his time with Luis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho learned a lot from him, and that's the reason why Jose Mourinho was successful in the future. Van Gaal saw more things in Jose Mourinho. So Van Gaal saw that Jose Mourinho could be more than a skilled assistant. He even let Jose Mourinho develop his own independent coaching style and entrusted him with the coaching duties of Barcelona B. That's how much Van Gaal believed in Jose Mourinho. He saw a lot of potential in Jose Mourinho as a coach very early. Jose Mourinho's real manager career started when he was appointed Benfica's head coach in 2000. When Jose Mourinho signed for Benfica, he replaced then manager Jupp Heynckes, and the Benfica hierarchy told him that he would appoint Jesualdo Ferreira as his assistant coach, but Jose Mourinho refused and he picked Carlos Moser, a retired Benfica defender. Mourinho was critical of Ferreira, so he didn't want to work with him, so he chose Carlos Moser instead. But during his time, he had a great run in Benfica. He won a lot of games. The biggest victory in Jose Mourinho's short time in Benfica was against Sporting CP when they defeated them. And as a result of that victory, he used that victory to tell the Benfica president to extend his contract. But due to disagreements between the Benfica president and Jose Mourinho unexpectedly left Benfica. And 6 months later, he signed for a new club, and that club's name was União de Leiria. And that team had a great time with Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho finished 4th with that team during his first year. It was a great season for Jose Mourinho because he drew a lot of interest to Portuguese clubs during that season. The team ended in 4th place, 1 point ahead of Porto, 1 point behind of Benfica, and 6 points behind the top of the league. And as a result, he was hand-picked by Porto to become their new manager. In the first season, it was decent for Jose Mourinho. Porto finished 5th place during that season, but he promised a lot of things would be happening the following season, and he had promised that Porto will have a great season, and he was right. But before the 2022-2023 season started, Jose Mourinho signed key players for Porto, and those players were Helder Postilla, Costinha, Deco, and Ricardo Carvalho were the players Jose Mourinho signed the following season. And during that season, Jose Mourinho won his first ever Portuguese league title, and he won the UEFA Super Cup against Celtic, securing his first 2 major titles so far as a manager, and that was a huge accomplishment for Jose Mourinho. But the following season was much better. Jose Mourinho secured his 2nd Portuguese league title, and he won his first ever Champions League with Porto. And after that, it was the birth of the special one, Jose Mourinho. After winning the Champions League in Porto, Chelsea had signed Jose Mourinho for the next season. On June 2nd, 2004, Mourinho moved to Chelsea with a 3-year contract after £1.7 million compensation package that was agreed with Porto, making him the first ever Portuguese manager in the Premier League. And in a press conference upon joining Chelsea, Mourinho said the following. He said, and I quote, "We have top players, and I'm sorry if I'm arrogant. We have a top manager," before adding, "Please don't call me arrogant, but I'm European champion. I think I'm a special one." This comment resulted in the media dubbing him as the special one. That season was a great season for Jose Mourinho because he did something that hasn't been done in Chelsea for 50 years, which is securing their first ever domestic title in over 50 years, which was the Premier League. Chelsea became Premier League champions in 2004-2005 season for the first time in many years. The following season, Jose Mourinho won his 2nd Premier League back-to-back, and he won the FA Community Shield. He won 3 titles in total by this time. And then his 3rd season, the only title Chelsea won that year was the FA Cup. So Jose Mourinho won the FA Cup that season, and he finished as a runner-up in the Premier League behind Manchester United. The following season was Jose Mourinho's last season. Jose Mourinho started the first 3 matches strong with Chelsea, but in September 2007, Jose Mourinho left Chelsea unexpectedly due to disagreements with Roman Abramovich, the Chelsea owner. But one good thing that came out of this was that Jose Mourinho left Chelsea as a successful manager, and he went on to new adventures, and this time he went to his next destination, which is Inter Milan. So on June 2008, Mourinho was appointed as Inter Milan's new coach, and he signed a 3-year contract with the club. And Jose Mourinho also brought alongside with him a lot of backroom staff who had served him at both Chelsea and Porto. So during this time, he signed 3 new players, which was the Brazilian winger Mancini, the Ghanaian midfielder Souley Montari, and of course the Portuguese winger Ricardo Quaresma. So during that season, Inter won the Supercoppa Italia, beating Roma, and they won the Serie A. So Jose Mourinho won 2 titles that season. The following season, which was the 2009-2010 season, that was Jose Mourinho's best season so far, because he won both the league and he won the Serie A and he won the Supercoppa Italiana. So he won 3 titles that year, and he ended his time in Inter as a champion. After winning the Champions League with Inter, a few days later, Jose Mourinho announced that he will be leaving Inter and going to Real Madrid, and that's what he did. So in May 31st, 2010, Jose Mourinho became the new Real manager. So as soon as Jose Mourinho became the coach, he made a lot of changes directly. He signed 3 players to the team that would change Real Madrid's playing style, and that was Angel Di Maria, Mesut Özil, and Sami Khedira. These 3 players were key players and important for Jose Mourinho in order to have a great and effective Real Madrid. So his first season in Real Madrid, he finished in 2nd place in La Liga, and he took Real Madrid to the semi-finals after they lost to Barcelona. And they also suffered their most humiliating loss to Barcelona in history, which was 5-0 at Camp Nou. But Jose Mourinho didn't go down like that. He took his revenge against Barcelona, and he defeated Barcelona with Real Madrid 1-0 in the Copa del Rey, and he secured his first ever title with Real Madrid. The following season, he won the La Liga with Real Madrid, and he came to the semi-final with Real Madrid after losing to Bayern Munich in penalties. The following season, his Real Madrid side finished as runner-ups behind Barcelona, and Real Madrid came to semi-final. And that was the first season in many seasons that Jose Mourinho didn't win a title. That was interesting, and Jose Mourinho wasn't happy. His relationship with Cristiano Ronaldo was complicated during that time because he said that Cristiano Ronaldo wasn't taking any criticism from Jose Mourinho, and the fans started to turn on him. Jose Mourinho didn't like the atmosphere in Real Madrid, so he decided to leave the club, and he returned to Stamford Bridge and Chelsea. Jose Mourinho returned to Chelsea on June 3rd, 2013. Chelsea appointed Mourinho as their manager for the 2nd time, and this time he signed a 4-year contract with the club. So Mourinho was officially confirmed as Chelsea manager for the 2nd time, and this season was a decent season for Jose Mourinho. He took Chelsea to the semi-final after being knocked out by Atletico Madrid, and he finished in the 3rd place at Premier League behind Manchester City and Liverpool. The following season was better when he came to the Premier League because he secured Chelsea's first ever Premier League in 5 years. So Chelsea won the Premier League in 2015. As for Champions League, Chelsea were knocked out by PSG. The following season, which was his final season, Jose Mourinho's Chelsea side had a very bad start. So as a result, Jose Mourinho was sacked by Chelsea this time. So things didn't go as planned for Jose Mourinho because he had signed a 4-year contract with the club previously, but that contract didn't go through. In 2016, Jose Mourinho's next chapter began with Manchester United. In May 2016, Mourinho signed a 3-year contract with Manchester United with an option to stay at the club until at least 2020. Mourinho didn't wait long to win his first trophy. He won his first trophy as Manchester United coach when he won the FA Community Shield after beating then reigning champions Leicester City 3-1. During that season, Jose Mourinho struggled a lot in Manchester United. He finished 6th place, but the following season he signed a few players like Romelu Lukaku, and he made some adjustments, and Manchester United finished 2nd place in the league. And the season after that, in 2018, Manchester United had a very bad start, and that led to Jose Mourinho's termination. And this time again, he was sacked by the club due to poor performance. After that, he coached Tottenham, and things didn't go as planned for Jose Mourinho because Tottenham did not finish in the top 4. They always finished in the middle, around 6th and 7th place. So Jose Mourinho couldn't do much, and Tottenham sacked Jose Mourinho once again. So in Tottenham, things pretty much went downhill for Jose Mourinho. He didn't win any titles, he couldn't control his team, he just lost a lot of games. So as a result, Jose Mourinho was sacked by the club. This was also the first time Jose Mourinho coached a club and didn't win a single trophy with them. in over 20 years, and that team was Tottenham Hotspur. So this was by far Jose Mourinho's biggest fail as a manager in many years. And today he's the head coach of Roma, and he pretty much suffers from the same problems that he has in Tottenham. But I'll make a video about that. If you want more football stories like this, you can always notify, like, comment, and share to your friends and family. And also you can subscribe for more football stories. I'm your host Amin, and today I wish you good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Until next time, thank you.